Hi guys, good afternoon or good evening because I think it's quite late in the day. This is Dr. Michelle and I'm on here because I have to share several news topics with you guys that I find very important, that I think we all should find important, right? First, let me get this little rant out. I am not happy about the climate of the United States, and I'm telling you guys this information is because, man, I don't think you guys are going to believe it yourselves, but I think that we need to be vigilant about what's going on, and I think we really need to be aware. Guys, please look at this to the end because this is very important stuff. It's about 7 different topics that I want to throw at you really quick, right? The first is that on Tuesday night, Donald Trump announced that he would be running again for the 2024 presidential elect, right? And I am flabbergasted. I am shocked because if you know anything about what's been going on with him, then the standard for what a president elect looks like is 0 to none. Like the United States credibility is shot to hell. Like we don't have any value or worth. I know other countries do not respect us because when he was first elected, that was like a surprise within itself because it showed us that really the political background, the business background that you need to actually be able to be a president of the United States was basically none. Right, I guess you just got to be a good businessman. And in this case, I can't speak to like this his character. I don't know this guy. I just know the things that happened when he was president of the United States. He was the most disliked president ever in history, and he called the biggest racial divide that the country has ever seen. So, being that you could just go and file the necessary papers to be president and probably ad lib or probably lie on it to be president, then yeah, I just should run for president of the United States too. Like I'm seriously thinking about doing it. But anyway, so the thing is that he has announced and made it official that he would be running for a president for 2024. Not only that, it makes me wonder or ask, why are there any drug convictions or criminals in jail? Obviously, or rapists or child molesters. Obviously, you could do whatever you want to do and still be president. Why there are people being charged, especially local officials or people like in small business places like the mayors and different things like that can be charged for actually taking bribes, they say, for using money, for their campaign in illegal ways, like because the president has yet to produce his tax documents. He's been charged, having charges allegedly for tax evasion, for taking documents from the White House, and let's not forget the resurrection on the Capitol, right? Like he is still basically supposed to be on trial for that. And that is in itself amazing because how long does it take to convince somebody for something that the world stood and watched, right? So it is so many things going on that it is just been not beyond my imagination that this is actually what's going on, right? So that's the first thing I wanted to bring to you, that Donald Trump, never ever was for me, has announced that he would be running for president again for 2024. He has filed the necessary paperwork and announced it. And the government officials or people that have the withdrawal to do something about it, to cause some type of injunction to say this is not feasible, this cannot be allowed, has did nothing to stop that. So yeah, you see how that's going to work out, right? The next thing that I want you guys to be aware of is that white Mississippi officials have decided that in Jackson, the county of Jackson, we're talking about Mississippi, have decided that there needs to be a separate court for black people. There needs to be a separate court. We're talking about a separate entity for black people, right? Where a white chief officer will preside over, white chief justice, I'm sorry, a white state attorney general, and a white state public um, commissioner, right? Safety commissioner would be the ones over it, right? And they would be in charge of the Capitol Police in the same way, right? So what they're trying to do, they have elected for it to be a separate court for black people to deal with the cases of black people, and also to expand the police force in Jackson, in which they'll be over as well. Now, Jackson has about 80% African American as the community constituents in that place, right? So basically, almost all black. And so I don't know how that happened. It is called the House of 1020 bill. And that is, I think it has been passed, to be honest. But if not, it's on its way, because it says that Reverend Trey Lamar said it will make the city a safer place, right? But we all know that it's just a constitutional replay of the constitutional 1890 bill, right? And this came from the actual article of revolt. So if you want to, go back and check my sources, because so many times when I try to tell people about these certain things, people want to check sources, want to say, what book did you read, all of that. Google all of this. You don't have to go to CNN. You don't have to go to Revolt. You don't have to go to the statistics, to CDC, to all of these places that I'm going to give you, right? And I'm naming these so that you can have these sources, right, to go back and read for yourself, right? But we know that a lot of times we don't pick up books and reads. We don't even go to sites that can actually educate us. I'm hoping that you'll look at the entire video, because yeah, this is gonna blow your mind if the first one didn't blow your mind, and the second one. The other thing that I wanted to bring to your attention, I'm sorry guys, I just ate, 1 second. So the other thing I want to bring to your attention, COVID-19. While the world was pushing COVID vaccinations and shots and condemning you to death if you did not get those shots, because you were not, I guess, considered a team player, what has happened is that the COVID-19 shot in 2021, it says that about 3 in 10 adults that were fully vaccinated died from COVID. It says in 2022, 4 in 10 died from COVID and had the shots. But by April 2022, CDC data, that's why I keep giving you resources, said that 6 in 10 adults died from COVID. And in August 2022, those numbers were still the same. So not only should we be paying attention to that, I don't know if they have some type of big idea again that can help against that, but it says that early premature deaths are coming as a result of it as well. But not only that, I think it's noteworthy for us to pay attention to all of these 30-year-olds and 40 years, basically 30. It's a lot of 30-year-olds and 20-year-olds that seem to be just dropping dead from cardiac arrest, from heart attacks, from strokes. And more than anything, if we can't say that COVID it has played a part, we can't say that it does play a part, but it's something to take note of, because we really don't know why so many people are just dropping dead, especially when it comes to the sports arena. Anytime the heart gets elevated or they playing sports, soccer, football, basketball, we've seen a lot of people that play sports as well just drop dead for no reason, right? All right, one of the other things I want you to know that I want to bring to your attention, the National Crime Information Center said that 40% blacks, mostly black women, have been reported missing. In 2010, I'm gonna work my way up, guys. 273 20,485. So I just should say 273 plus were reported missing, mostly from New York, Georgia, Maryland, Florida, and North Carolina, right? And currently 69,000 black women are missing in the U.S., right? Not to mention that PBS did a report some time ago that 300,000 black girls and women were missing in 2020, okay? And then the thing about it is Statista, Statista, one of the statistical reporting places, reported that 177,530 in 2021 were reported missing. Guys, again, this has been going on for years and years and years, and nobody seems to be concerned that the epidemic of the number of black women that are missing is disproportionately against any other culture. And what's even worse, that white women get the attention of being missing overall than black women. So it's disproportionate and nothing has been done about it. But at the same time, how can you seriously tell me that this many women and girls and boys, girls go missing, and nobody, you can't catch on to this? And it's been happening since what, 1960 or whatever. It has been happening and growing, especially since the 80s and things like that. But nobody can kind of figure out what's happening to these women, right? I think you can. Anytime that there are underground cities that is actually underground cities, and you have people that deliver to these places, you have life going on, you have preparations being made for people that live under there, but you can't tell me that you can't keep up with this many black women being missing. And now it's becoming that black men are being targeted and being found to be coming up missing as well. This has been happening this year a lot. It's also beginning to be like some type of trend thing that's going on, because just recently, I think it was Alabama, 2 black men ended up missing at the same time that were together. Guys, these are not mentally unstable men. These are young men anywhere from 18 to 40 something to up. These are grown men, big stature men. I mean, these men have been reported to be at least 290 pounds and up, 6 feet tall, 6 feet tall and up, and like built statues are coming up missing. This is something to be concerned about as well. Also, I know for a fact there's somebody that I know whose son has been missing since like February 3rd. I think he's in his 30s, and it's a tragedy. It is very, very sad, guys. We have to begin to pay attention and try to figure out what in the world is going on. I have my speculations, like I've always said, for our organs, for the melanin in our skin, for black markets, for being sold, for this, for that, for that. Like when it comes to black people, it almost seems like that we are not a commodity. Like our lives does not matter at any point. And so for me, I'm sharing this information because I want people to be aware and people to start to do things, and people that has the influence and the place to make a difference to recognize that we are not Dumbo the fools. We do realize what's going on, and we want something to be done about it, and we need to, hold ourselves accountable as well, right? The other thing that I wanted to talk to you about, the death rate, mortality among black pregnant women is at an all-time high. It is rising. It says the United States has the highest birth mortality than mortality in the world. And the highest of that is among black women. They said the reasons being is because, and when I say I'm talking about the CDC, I'm talking about other statistical information and resources, right? So when people say who are they, I'm telling you who they are, so that you won't be like, who is she talking about? In different stories is what I'm talking about. Keep up with the different stories. So CDC has reported that one of the reasons they believe that black women die is because of hypertension, because of the poor lack of care that we receive, and for the direct patient direct patient provider treatment, racial bias treatment that we receive as Black women. What does that mean? That simply means that we do not receive the care that we desire to have, or that we should get when we are pregnant or when we're delivering our babies, right? That there are racial divides and biases and things going on, so we don't get the care from providers that we should get, or the necessary resources that we need to make sure that we have healthy deliveries and healthy babies, right? It says that not only do these women die during childbirth, but some about 45 days after in which they have their babies, which also is a critical time to make sure that mothers are taken care of, because some mothers can leave the hospital with hemorrhaging, with just all types of things going on, that people don't listen and stop and listen to Black women when they say, I'm not feeling good, I don't feel like myself, something is wrong, right? It's usually too late. And if you want to talk about numbers, they said that that 860 women in 2020 died either during childbirth or 42 days at the end of their pregnancy, compared to 361 in 2000. So you're trying to tell me that ability to correctly assess and care for pregnant women, Black women, has changed. Like we somehow are not capable of caring for Black women anymore, right? And it also says that that it has become the highest of all time in the United States. Okay, so not only does the United States have a problem with keeping up with their Black people and can't see their Black people disappearing and have no clues, now they're having a problem with pregnant Black women and being able to help bring our babies safely in the world. Not only that, as a recap, now we are being, if Mississippi can go forward with this bill, and again, let me tell y'all, the House Bill 1020, if they go forward with this would be a major hindrance for Black people as well. Because if you're talking about Jackson, 80% African American, you're talking about one of the largest communities in the United States that contain Black people. Like, point blank, there's nothing else to say about that. The largest, right? So if they can do that, that is just a catapult into what is going to go from then down on. Because this is like, if I can get that county, that city, that particular location, then it'll be easy to get the rest. Guys, I need you to wake up and see what's happening, right? And not only that, I have to go back and see who the other Republican is running with Donald Trump. So if Donald Trump doesn't win, he's identical twin of Donald Trump. Like, it's a mess, right? All right, so the other thing, right, that I want to bring to your attention, you know that we have a large waste problem in the United States. So we have a huge waste problem. We're running out of places to put our waste. We have a huge problem with hunger and with plastic, right? Plastic being one of the larger ones, because you can look in these places and plastic is everywhere, right? So Fox 5 reported, and it was seen on an Instagram post. I think it was Cici Michaela post, I believe, that I saw it on, where there's a scientist in Michigan. So look up the scientists in Michigan when it comes to the plastic and hunger problem, right? Scientists in Michigan that says that more than likely this will take place. Guys, listen to this. Where microplasm is a problem, that we all ingest some of that anyway, right? And when I mean by that, I mean the chemical from the plastic, or either the paper where the ink is on the plastic, or things like that. When we get things that's in plastic or containers, we are susceptible to certain parts of that plastic getting in our bodies, right? Which I also think is a problem, because yeah, we're ingesting some of that, right? Well, the way that they want to control hunger and the plastic problem altogether in the United States is to begin to take plastic and make it into fats and sugars that can be put into food, right? So they're trying to say, in order to solve the hunger problem, we're going to take this plastic waste problem that we have with the pollution, and we're just going to break it down into fats and sugars that could be put into food. So basically, you're going to be eating plastic, more plastic, who knows how much plastic, in order to try to solve the hunger problem. Now, where that makes sense, I don't know, because then you're looking at more cancer, you're looking at more chronic illnesses with no cure. You're looking at more blood diseases that you can't figure out what's going on, probably more blindness, more deafness, more brain problems, everything. And this is what I'm sensing in the Holy Spirit. Now, you don't have to be a prophet to be able to see these things, although I'm gifted with prophetic gifts. This is just the Bible coming to pass. And also, this is just common sense and things that we have to be able to tell for ourselves, right? Not only that, now you talk about hunger. Let me switch it into this. If anybody has... if you knew anything about, I'm gonna get back to hunger. Let me just bring this back around. If anybody applied for the school loan forgiveness, this is the thing that's going on with that. That has been put on hold. That has been halted, I think, for a couple of months now, because the Supreme Court says that the president overstepped his authority and cannot forgive loans for all these people, billions and millions of people, of $10,000, correct? Some maybe 20,000. The 2 points I want to make of that. One is that anything that you put your social security number on, and I don't think I've ever said this out loud, but I'm telling people because I literally fought where somebody was trying to take some money from me. A legal law firm was trying to take money from me, and I had to remind them that technically it's illegal for you to try to garnish people and take money from people for money that's already been given. Like USC code 16 something. I forget the USC code. I'm gonna have to get back and let you guys tell you guys about the USC code. What the USC code says that anything that you put your social security number on is money that's already there. The whatever you it's like an extended credit, whatever you're applying for has already been paid for. So anytime someone come after you for something that you use your social security for in a way of money, I could get, it's so much to this, guys. It's an illegal practice, right? And so what happened was these people had to give me my money back, like literally. And when I was talking to them, the paralegal was like, I've never heard of that. That can't be true. And I said, well, maybe you need to talk to the attorneys, tell the attorneys to see. And the attorneys actually did their research after saying we have no clue, and realized that indeed that was a real thing. And so they had to give me my money back. I'm telling you guys, knowledge is power, okay? Knowledge is power. And therefore, I'm going to find some way to get my money back when it comes to, or get them to stop pursuing me when it comes to these school loans, because I use my social security number, and the United States has already extended this money for all of this. We don't owe nobody nothing, to be honest, right? We have to please start to research this stuff, because I'm gonna start using it a lot more, right? So with that being said, it's been halted. And then the second thing I told you about the USC codes, we're going to do some information about that. But the third thing is the Supreme Court said that the president overstepped his limitations. Well, get this. He did not overstep his limitations or his authority when he signed a 1.7 billion trillion fund relief a while ago, right? And I don't know if it was in the next few months or whatever, but it has been signed, right? And in that relief, Ukrainian was a part of that relief of the bill he signed. And guys, guess how much they were given? They were given $75 billion. $75 billion was sent to Ukraine in order to help them with, it wasn't just about the war, right? The war allowed them to be able to receive military assistance, but they received money for hunger, economics, sustainability relief, all of that. When I tell you, it was it's about 8 things that they received money for, that is almost a tragedy, when in reality the United States itself is right now in this day has a hunger crisis and a homelessness crisis. This is the United States. While $75 billion is being sent to Ukraine, the United States is suffering from a hunger crisis, as I noted about the plastic, dealing with the hunger in the United States, and a homeless crisis, right? So while he's sending money over there, and Trump is busy trying to get back into make America great again. And to some degree, sometimes I think Trump is making sense, because America has lost its way and we're on our way to demise. Maybe he sees something that we don't see. The only problem I had with Trump was the fact that the racial divide was the worst, right? The worst. And see, we're not going to lay down and do like our ancestors. Like, no, that's not the generations that we are. So that was the only problem that I saw with him, because he might seem crazy and say some stuff, but he also know what he's talking about, and a whole lot of things is going on with America, right? So anyway, getting back to the point. The hunger crisis, there's like 32.7 million people below the poverty level in the United States. About 38 million suffers with suffer with hunger, right? People that deal with hunger issues. And then in 2000, or was it 2020? Let me see, guys. I'm gonna tell you in a second. In 2020. Now, this was just a couple of years ago. This is the sad part about it. Homelessness is so bad that in 2020, about 580,000 people ended up homeless in one night. During the pandemic, 580,000 plus, I should say that, because I looked at the statistics and I was trying to write certain things down to try to remember before I got on here. In one night in 2020. Right. So the pandemic not only caused homelessness to flourish, because so many people was one paycheck away from homelessness, it brought forth the problems that we face in the United States, which hunger being one of the problems, with homelessness being another problem. So now not only are we disproportionately represented when it comes to fair housing, and banks not giving loans, and either we're trying to get our houses appraised, and it's appraised way less than value unless a white family come in and put pictures in, and then it's appraised above value. You know, we're not getting loans equally. We're not being represented for fair housing, for fair pay. We are dealing with police brutality, right? We're dealing with poor lack of education, because believe it or not, there are so many schools that are not accredited in poverty-stricken areas, because of the simple fact that there are people graduating that cannot read on a 4th grade level. These things are true, guys. You can Google it and you can pull up a bunch of the resources that I'm telling you, right? So what's happening is that all around we're suffering. We are suffering, and people be like, oh, that's the way the world is now. Well, why is it that black people seems to be the highest above everything when it comes to things of tragic or of economic status or social status or political status? We're the least represented in government places, right? We're the least represented when it comes to being able to say that we get equal fair treatment when it comes to social injustices. We're the least represented when it comes to fair medical coverage and ability to get fair medical coverage and help. We're the least represented when it comes into being able to eat healthy foods and have things in our neighborhoods that are affordable to our family. We're under the financial line as far as being able to make money that's acceptable to be able to make it in this world. our income medium, there's a gap, if I'm not mistaken, about 64% between black families and white family. And you mean to tell me that there isn't a problem because all of those cities of black people, black communities that are buried under all these lakes, you mean to tell me that nobody knew about that? Like, why aren't more people talking about the fact that entire black communities have disappeared and been buried under lakes? And it's almost like these are things that our kids don't know. These are things that they don't want us to teach in the school systems. They don't want us to talk about black history and teach our kids about our history, but yet you're constantly running over to Africa and to Egypt, and you're constantly saying you discovered. You didn't discover nothing. You're messing with sacred ground, sacred lands, sacred burials, and you're bringing artifacts back to places to put on display as if you discovered something, just like Christopher Columbus did not discover America. What the hell? You understand what I'm saying? At some point, there has to be more video, more dialogue, more books written about the things that people aren't saying. And I'm going to tell you that there are thousands and millions of books out there on this information that we're not putting in our kids' hands. Our kids are not getting in their hands, and the school system is not going to do it. So we have to be accountable for what our kids read, what they know, and what we put in our hands. We are so complacent and dependent on somebody else doing it for us. And this is a result of allowing everything to just go by, right? All right, I'm going on a tangent. Let me give you what else I was going to say, right? And one of the other things I wanted to bring to your attention, and then I'm about to get ready to go. One of the other things I want to tell you that's going to be helpful to you as well. Social Security. Now, I hope the video does not get banned. So I'm going to say allegedly all of these things are alleged. Everything that I said allegedly, even though there are resources that have been published and that's out there, when I do these videos, I cannot lie to you guys. They get banned so much that I had just stopped doing them, right? So allegedly. Okay, so now allegedly, there's a good chance that we won't receive Social Security when it's time for us to get Social Security, or when we're of age, right? Those who are getting it now, cool. But in a couple of years, there's no guarantee that you'll be able to get Social Security, which is also crazy. So the United States is in debt by what? Who knows? 6 trillion or 12 trillion or more. Who knows? But we paying into a system that actually probably is money that is going over to Ukraine and to help other people, to help them get, and those Ukrainians who have come over to the United States or other refugees would be able to get a stipend of maybe $3,000 or more a month allegedly, whereas we couldn't get that when we was in the pandemic as Americans, right? So you can also go online and file a form to not pay Social Security. Now, this information is not only for you to think about, to get involved some kind of way, to pray about it, because we need to do something besides just, hear about this stuff. We need to find ways that we can get involved and spread the information, because it will get to the right ears, right? And we need to pray as a whole as well, because God does hear our prayers, right? So that is one thing. Also, guys, something else that I want to throw your direction is that years ago, well, I'm not going to get into that. Something said don't talk about that. I may get on here another day to share a whole bunch of other information with you guys. If you think that I'm on top of information and I read things like that and I know what's going on, my twin brother is superb when it comes to this type of thing. Hopefully he will find some type of platform where he's able to share all the information that he come across, right? Like, I'm lightweight compared to him, but I may get on again another day and share the information, because we are twins, and I think that thing will call to it. But I want you to understand this. We have got to start to use our powers. Those who are in places that can make a difference, that can do something different, needs to step up and do something. Matter of fact, I understand and heard, even as in Jackson, I think Jay-Z was one of the people that Jay-Z and somebody else was another rapper that actually was in the position where they were actually suing the jail in these places in Mississippi because of unfair and illegal death penalties and things like that. So kudos to those guys. I also know that T.I., I think was one of the guys that, and Jay-Z might be in that, as far as fair housing when it comes to lower income families were being built here in Atlanta. And I do know that, was it LeBron? Or was it Gabrielle's husband? I think it was LeBron, gives back so much to the community, as well as Shaq and Queen Latifah, and her part of New York also does a lot of work when it comes to the community. It's so many more people that I could name, but what I'm trying, and we all know about Russ, who does the cars, the bank cars, and you see other celebrity doing things like that as well. What I'm asking is that we get this information to the ears of the people that perhaps are too busy living life that does not see what's going on. I'm asking that you get involved, because we always say it doesn't make any difference that we vote. Well, listen, if we vote and we come out in numbers and do what we're supposed to do to vote for these local officials, for our presidencies, for the midterms and things like that, the elections, the local elections that go on, you never know. It may make a difference. And if we know we're doing our part and it's not making a difference, then yeah, we have to resort to other alternatives. But we have to make sure that what we do is recognize the bills and things that are being passed in the House. We have to start to hold these House officials, whether liberals, Republicans, Democrats, Supreme Court, General Court, Circuit Courts, all of that, accountable for what they are doing. General Assembly, House of Assembly, we have to make it more aware for people that aren't aware of how this thing works, right? We have to do something, guys, because this is getting terrible, right? And I'm going to get off, but before I get off, I have a rant, right? And you guys are going to laugh at me, because not only am I tired of all the injustices and all of that stuff that's going on, I'm going to tell you how pathetic Black people we are getting when it get to certain things. And I know you guys probably said, Dr. Michelle, did you really just tell us this story? I'm actually tired of trifling women as well. I'm tired of trifling Black women who say they will power for the women. And I say this because anybody that knows me know that I am an advocate for women, right? Empowerment of women, especially, and things like that. Well, guys, true story. My dog Duchess, when I had Duchess, I would walk Duchess 3 or 4 times a day. And so people that walk the dogs as well always was stopping. Oh, she's so cute, because she had the prettiest green eyes and all this and that and this, that, and third. So we had become familiar in the neighborhood, right? So one particular day when we first moved, one particular day, my man was walking Duchess. And so I didn't warn him. I forgot to tell him about the interactions and how everybody want to be dog friendly and all the dogs got to sniff each other, and they just had begun to know each other, right? So he comes back in and he was like, oh my God, because he's not that type of person. And he's telling me about the old man. He's telling me about the man that was too invasive, which there is one, like he just don't get the point. Like, we got to go, bro. Right. And then about the lady and about this and that. And so then he's telling me about all these people, and we're having a good time because I'm naming, oh yeah, that one got this dog, this one. And then he tells me about the chick with the brown dog. And I said, the brown poodle? And he said, yeah, and she was just talking. And I'm like, like this wench, when I walk the dog and speak, 1, does not open her mouth. 2, act like she don't want her dog near my dog, would make it a point to pull her dog away. And also was kind of snobby, right? And to find out that this wench then had a whole conversation that she wanted to share with my man, and talk about, oh, how, yeah, and I guess she wanted to be friendly that day. I am so sick of thoughts. I am so sick of women that clearly, you know what I'm saying? Clearly go out their way to be backstabbing no good hoes. Right? I should have said hoes. It's not politically right, correct for me to say what I said. But anyway, I'm tired of that too. And I'm not saying we don't have trifling men. I'm just saying I'm just serving notice for the trifling thoughts that really don't have anything better to do but to be fake. That really bothered me. And since I was telling you about the things that bother me today, I decided to throw that in too because I can. But anyway, guys, this is Dr. Michelle. I need you guys to definitely think on the things that I've shared with you, and to make it a point to, y'all, let's get involved. Let's knowledge is power. The word says my people perish because of lack of knowledge, and it is very true that we perish because of lack of knowledge. And I hope just by me getting on and enlighten somebody, help somebody and point us in the right direction, because I really think I'm going to do it again. All right, guys, you be blessed. Peace.